Alright guys, we've got the safety position now. Yep, this should be a pretty interesting group to go through again. Kind of like cornerbacks, it's really not a true #1 safety in the league right now, so it'll be really interesting to see like where all these guys are ranked again. All the starting safeties, maybe a couple other dudes too, but yeah, this should be really fun. Starting safety tier rankings 2023, let's go! And with that, what is going on, guys? Of course, welcome back to the Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed the 2023 NFL starting safety rankings and tiers, basically. Of course, we'll go. I think like every team has at least 2 to 3 safeties. I don't think I have a team that has 4, thank God. But yeah, this will be really fun. There aren't too many rookies, but I think there are a couple. So I really wanted to put more rookies in, but I just don't know. Like again, there's really no point because they're just gonna be ungradable. There's really only like one I think that actually might fit in. So that'll be fun to do him though. But either way, though, again, #1 is the best safety in the whole league, which, I mean, it's very close with the top 5, basically. S tier, top 5 safeties, something like that. They're just really, really good. A tier, very, very good players. They're just not quite the best of the best. B tier, very solid safeties, good to have on your team, but they're just not, like, they usually have, like, one thing that they need, they're just not very good at. Average safeties, they're usually good tacklers, just not the best in coverage, I'm to be honest there. Or they're good in coverage and they just don't, that's kind of about it. D, they're usually just bad in coverage, like, that's kind of what it is, or they're just not very good at tackling. F tier, just terrible safeties. Like, they're not very good. I don't know how they have a spot, but they do. And then, again, rookies and not gradable will also be part of this, too. So I got there. Let's get right into it. I think it's starting with, oh, yeah, Adrian Phillips. Alright, Adrian Phillips, I will put in C tier because for a guy who's supposed to basically come out basically on like 3rd down and stuff and just make tackles at the first down line, basically he plays a lot of off there. He's a good dynamic player for sure. Over the top and one high though, he's just not the greatest. Again, he is kind of a box safety, but he does force a lot of turnovers, does make a lot of big tackles, but he can miss some tackles once in a while. It's the reason he's not a starter, but he's definitely a guy you want to watch out for on 3rd down because he will be on the field a lot there and making a lot of plays. Andre Cisco, he'll go in C tier too. I really liked his ability to read the quarterback. He's been so good in zone so far in his career, but again, his man coverage still needs a little bit of work. He hasn't been physical enough against tight end, and his tackling is okay, but I definitely can see him for some improvement there. Next, I think is Jalen Petrie. He'll go in C tier too. Again, Jalen Petrie had a really impressive rookie season, all things said, but he just was a mess in terms of overall consistency wise. He was really inconsistent. Yeah, he had a lot of tackles. He had 5 interceptions, forced a lot of turnovers. Made a lot of big plays in tackling and stuff, but he has a lot of good capabilities, but he hasn't gotten to the point in coverage yet where I'm actually thinking he should be decent, because last year he was pretty terrible in coverage and he still misses a ton of tackles. So again, I think the Buda Baker development there, his ball skills are definitely still there, and he's just got the natural instincts that, again, when you watch him at Baylor, I'm like, yeah, he was the best player on their defense. So much potential. I could definitely see him being one of the best safeties in the NFL. The only reason he's in C tier though is because he missed a ton of tackles and he just wasn't again, he made a lot of plays, but it just wasn't great. I don't know, just kind of a mess. Who is this? Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward going B tier. Again, down season last year, he got hurt as well, dealt some injuries, but 2021 was definitely A tier. He's one of the better safeties, reliable guys in the league for an older dude. Really hard to beat for any slot receiver in man coverage because he just gets on you and it's really hard to complete passes against too. But then again, he had some frustrating parts last season though. A little bit of a down year, but he's still a very good player. Kevin Byard, I think. Is this Kevin Byard? Why? Yeah, this has to be Kevin Byard, right? Yeah. Why? No, this is Kevin Byard. Yeah, he goes in S tier. He's my Wait, is he my #1 safety? Yeah, he is. Kevin Byard right now is my #1 safety simply because there isn't another player in the league that can play just the level of coverage he can. He is the best one-high safety in the entire NFL. By not a good stretch, he's that, it's pretty definitive there. Yes, tackling is not his greatest thing. He's not the most dynamic player, but again, he's the only guy, again, who could play one high that well and also be able to, he can play any sort of, again, I'm more of a guy who loves coverage for safeties. Again, tackling is a huge part of it too, again, stopping the run, but Kevin Byard can do that, and he's also playing a guy with Amani Hooker who's also really good at that. I just think right now, Kevin Byard is just the best cover safety. I might switch him around a little bit, but right now, again, he's the best cover safety by far, so I gotta keep him there for now. Amani Hooker, we're going B tier. He just struggled. He had 5 different injuries. He was really banged up last year. When he was on the field, though, he was fine, so he'll go in B tier again. Had a breakout year in 2021. Justin Simmons, he's S tier. Yeah, last season, again, he did get carried by some of the turnovers he forced, but He's still a really good tackler. He's still very consistent. And the injury is really the first time we saw that last season by him. He did have some inconsistencies in main coverage. Got burned a little bit, but that's kind of about it for him. Keenan Stearns, I got to put in D tier. I mean, coming out of the draft, he was supposed to be a guy who could hang with a lot of slots and being able to tackle really well. He just didn't show that in his rookie season. I just don't know what else to say. He isn't that impressive right now. Kareem Jackson, C tier. He just blows guys up. Again, he's still one of the best box safeties. I mean, not one of the best, but he's still a very valuable box safety because he just blows up the run when he needs to. He's still one of the hardest hitters in the league, even if his speed, just everything's kind of declined a little bit. I still respect Kareem Jackson a lot. Derwin James, he's probably the most versatile safety in the league. I don't think he's the best, though, because, yeah, you could talk about, again, I just don't think he is consistently every single play, the biggest, best play, safety in the league. He just doesn't have that type of, overall consistency and that energy. Don't get me wrong, he's definitely the most versatile safety in the league. He can do anything. Again, he's pretty good in coverage, but he's not elite. Again, that's kind of where it comes from. He's not the most consistent guy in coverage. So I gotta keep him. Again, I'm fine to give him the #1 ranking. I just can't give it because he's just not consistent enough on a down-and-down basis. What is this? Brian Cook. Brian Cook, I'll put in D tier. I don't think he's very good. I think he's a decent backup. He's okay in coverage, but he just misses too many tackles, and he just doesn't have the leverage ability to really make tackles in open field just yet. I don't like him for that. Elijah Gilman, I'm not a big fan of him, but I do respect him because he's a guy who it's hard to beat over the top on because he just knocks a lot of balls away, and his ball skills are also pretty good. So Elijah Gilman, I do expect him a pretty big, really first season starting. Justin Reed, he'll go in B tier. Not just the fact that he can kick, but, I mean, he's just a really good run stopper. And also for a guy who plays a lot of flat zones, he's really good with tackling there. Mike Edwards will go in C tier. He forces a ton of turnovers, but that's kind of about it. And, you can talk all you want about how he's not the best man, which is very true. But he's just, again, solid tackler. Not a great tackler, but a solid tackler. And has the range and length to make, so just some of the plays he makes, I just don't think any other guys can make. Who is this? Trayvon Mulrig, I think? Or is this Marcus Epps? This is Trayvon Mulrig. Trayvon Mulrig goes in B tier. You could very well put him in A tier by many people's accounts, but I just don't think he's actually played at the level of an A tier safety. Again, he hasn't really had the stability, which does say he could be an A tier again. But last season didn't perform the whole season at a really high level. He had some parts of it where he was just lost at times, but he's played overall really well so far in his career. Marcus Epps will go in C tier. He's older now. Again, a couple years with the Eagles, he was fine, but he's never been the most fantastic in coverage. Guys get a ton of yak yardage off him because he just doesn't have the hip fluidity or really the length to actually make some of those tackles. But he's not the worst safety in the world. Is this Cameron Curl? And that's Derek Forrest. Yes, it's Cameron Curl. Cameron Curl going to B tier. Another really good run defender, but still needs some work in coverage. Yeah, he's good. Derek Forrest, I'll put him in C tier. Again, he really earned that solid starting spot. He's just not athletic enough, I think, to hang with some of these guys he'll have to go up against. And against running backs, especially on screens, he's not going to win one-on-one all the time. This is that Amani Hooker? I don't know. Why did I just forget his Malik Hooker? That is Don Wilson. That's Jaron Curse. This is Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker I'll actually put in B tier. In my opinion, he's the best third safety in the league, third down safety in the league, because he is he always has fresh legs, and he not only can he win in one-on-one coverage, but he's also really, really good. He's gotten so much better in coverage. Again, really solid rookie season. Again, struggled with injury 2020 to 2022, but last season really showed up. Had a really solid season. I'll put him in B tier. Again, this is a little bit speaking out of it, but he's pretty versatile as well. Jaron Curse, C tier. He's okay. He's never really wowed me that much. Again, he's a solid player, but I don't know. He doesn't make a ton of tackles. He does get burned a little bit. He's not the worst player, though. Don Wilson, I'll put in A tier. Don Wilson just is a really good cover guy, and he also makes a lot of tackles. So, all that mixed together, I'll give him A tier. Reed Blankenship, I do get why people might think he's D tier, but I can't give him that because he just makes, he's just been, again, rookie season, as a backup in coverage, he didn't get beat a lot, but I think that's really important for a guy like him, who's supposed to be good in zone, but also showed he could at least play some man. Terrell Edmonds, C tier. For a first-round pick, I'm not, again, he kind of was a disappointment, but he's really just a box safety. That's kind of what you get with him. Xavier McKinney, down season last year, but I will put him in B tier because he just is so athletic, and he's just a big difference maker for the Giants. Again, 2021, he was probably, 2021 was by far, again, for 3 seasons in the league, was his best year for sure. He was awesome, best player on that Giants team probably, but last season, just wasn't quite as good, but he was still pretty solid in coverage. Jason Pinnock, I have to put in D tier. I mean, he's a good guy to play in the run game, especially on third and short, because he can stuff the run pretty well. But his coverage skills aren't there right now. Eddie Jackson, there's a very good case where we'd put him in B tier. He was actually really good last year, but then again, he basically his kneecap got torn off. So with all that in mind, it was something like he screwed up one of his legs. With all that in mind, though, especially after he was like stinking it up from 2019 to 2021. Again, very well could be in B tier. I would not be mad with him because he played that well last year, but he just got with that injury. I got to keep him in C tier. Like he was probably D tier level play. Like again, huge regression, but honestly, I'll put him in B tier. Eddie Jackson's a good safety. Again, he was good last year. Very well could be at his best again. He was an S tier, probably A tier. That's probably where I think he'll play this year. I think he'll actually take another step up, but. Really solid year last year when he was playing. Jaquan Brisker will go in C tier, kind of like Jalen Petrie, other than the fact that Jalen Petrie is probably a little faster. But Jaquan Brisker definitely is just not very disciplined in coverage, gets beat a lot over the middle. Doesn't have really the length to knock some a lot of passes underneath away. Misses a couple tackles, but he is a pretty big difference maker at times. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he'll go in B tier. I'll actually put him in A tier. He's just the versatility he provides is huge, and yeah, he can't really play man. He's not the greatest tackler, but his zone coverage is probably honestly better than Kevin Byard's. Curry Joseph, B tier. He is Aaron Rodgers' dad. He makes a lot of plays, baits a lot of what is it called? He baits a lot of quarterbacks. But when he's not in zone and he has to actually like man up against a guy and he can't read the quarterback, he's really good. Again, his best ability is just really his IQ and his like instincts. But when he has to play straight up man on man, especially in pressing that slot, he's not the greatest just yet. And I'm still looking for him to make more plays in the run game. So I do think he could definitely be A tier for sure. But he just hasn't really shown me the plays in run defense or the ability to actually like play man on man super consistent. So that's about it for him though. This is Jonathan Owens, right? That's Jonathan Owens. That's how am I not getting this? That's Ruby Ford, right? Packers number. What is his number? 20. He's number 20. Okay, this is Ruby Ford. That's Darnell Savage. Darnell Savage goes in C tier. He's never really impressed me that much. Yeah, rookie season, he did have a lot of flashes. Like, he could be an elite safety. He's still one of the most overrated players in the league, in my opinion, because people do think, oh, that guy's a heck of a player. He's not really, because he misses so many tackles, and he gets burned a lot. I just gotta say that. He does make plays. He can, like, just blow a game open for the... He's done that with the Packers, but... he just hasn't really been, like, really that impressive, like, overall, so I gotta keep him in C tier. Ruby Ford, D tier. I don't know how he's a starter. I mean, he's been pretty good tackler, but he's kind of just, like, a really stiff guy in coverage. Like, even I could probably beat him. But he's definitely a brutal guy to tackle with. And, but he just misses too many tackles, just too reliable in coverage. Jonathan Owens is C tier. He hasn't looked so well good in preseason. Again, Simone Biles' husband, but, yeah, a lot of media stuff with him. But as a straight-up football player, he's whatever. Harrison Smith, probably gonna keep him in, keep him in B tier. He still just makes too many big plays to, like, keep him at a B tier, but his coverage is definitely not that. He's definitely declining a lot. Cameron Bynum, D tier. He gets burned way too much for me to, like, actually think he's a decent player. Like, he gave, 8 touchdowns last season? It was not good. He does provide some value, I guess, in the run events, and he does make some tackles, but there is a reason he gets targeted a lot. Lewis Cine, ungradable. He snapped his leg in week 4. Ryan Neal, I honestly could consider him putting in A tier. He was the best safety last year overall. Again, PFF doesn't lie about that on film. He just was so impactful for that Seahawks defense. It'll be interesting to see how he plays with the Bucs. He just didn't make many mistakes. Antoine Winfield, A tier. Again, another guy you could very well put in S tier, but I just can't do it yet because his coverage just isn't like exactly there right now. Jesse Bates, S tier in my opinion. Again, rough 2021 after, like, again, his best season was 2020. But last season, he actually took an even bigger step up, and he was even better in run events. And again, still want to, like, just the fact that the leadership he brings and his ability, like, the stability over the top is just huge. Guys, again, corners don't have to worry about him making a mistake because he will always be in the right place. Oh, yeah, I forgot Taylor Rapson on this list. He's probably going to go in C tier. He gets burned too much. Is this Jalen Hawkins, or is this, that might be Jalen Hawkins, right? Or is that Richie Grant? I think that's Richie Grant. This is Richie Grant. Richie Grant's going to go in C tier. He's another good one high safety, but his tackling is just not really there right now. Jalen Hawkins is, but kind of the opposite there. He just isn't really good enough in zone coverage for me to really think he's a good safety yet. But they both had solid seasons last year. Jeremy Chin, C tier. The good thing is that he disappeared, which, again, isn't good, and it's bad and good. So bad, he wasn't making any huge plays, but good, he wasn't getting roasted. That's all I'll say. Is this Xavier Woods? That's Von Bell, right? Yeah, Xavier Woods I'm going to put in B tier. I actually think he's a decent corner. After leaving the Vikings, and last year with the Panthers, he had a really solid year, really underrated part of their team for sure. He was actually really good in run defense, and yeah, his coverage has kind of never been that great, but he wasn't bad there. Von Bell also B tier. He's also a good safety. I mean, with the Saints, he was good. And yeah, he's a good player. Tyrann Mathieu, I'm not going to put an A tier. I'll keep him top of B tier. He's definitely slowed down a lot, but you can't deny he's still a really good safety. Wait, do I put him, honestly, Tyrann Mathieu put an A tier, because last year you could argue he was the best safety in the league. He took a step back, but he's still really, really good. Aiden Naylor, C tier. His coverage is just not really warranted to put in B tier, but he does make enough tackles to be there. Budda Baker, probably the best run defender out of any safety in the whole league for sure. I mean, he's the only guy in the whole league that can come from, let's say 20 yards downfield and make a tackle in the backfield. It's insane. He's just a freaking missile. Jalen Thompson, C tier. He's shown some stuff, but I don't know if he's actually that great right now. Talunu Funga, straight up, he is the most frustrating player to watch at times, but also the most dynamic player. He makes so many big plays, so many hard hits. Again, he's basically Budda Baker, but not under control. So again, if you could just get the coverage down a little better, he'd definitely be an S tier. That's really different. He's probably more talented than Jesse Bates, but Jesse Bates is just better in coverage and more discipline. That's really the difference there. Jayshon Gibson Sr. B tier. He's a good safety. He just doesn't make enough plays or has the impact on the game. Again, he's very valuable because he's so good over the top, but I just don't see him again, he's not the fastest guy, but he's just getting really disciplined. He doesn't have to make as many plays or so. He doesn't have the biggest impact, but he is very good over the top. Very disciplined. Jordan Fuller, C tier. When he's on the field, he's really good, but he never can stay healthy. John Johnson was horrible at the Browns this 2 years. I hope he can come back to the Rams and get back to the form he had before, because borderline A tier when he was on the Rams. Quandre Diggs is A tier. Again, kind of where is he? C.J. Gardner-Johnson, except he's even better in coverage. I mean, Quandre Diggs is insane. Jamal Adams, I gotta keep him in B tier. Again, none of you people know, he didn't play last year. But, again, in the few snaps he played against Denver, he looked really good, he was in it. He was ready to go. Locked in. I hope this injury isn't too bad for him, because, again, towards the end of 2020, it looked like he was figuring it out with his coverage, because, again, they moved him from that box safety into a position where they don't need him to play the box, because they have other guys who can do that. They need him to be the one high safety that can basically make so many tackles, because Jamal Adams is such a big impactor on the defense, because he is one of the only guys who I think could be able to have the potential to play really good true one high safety, which is what I think they're trying to get him to do, and also be able to make tackles and make huge plays. If he can get into that, he could be potential sky high for him. Again, he's a little older now, but he's still really good. Who is this? Why can't I get his name? Oh, this is Julian Love. Julian Love will go in B tier. He was fantastic last year. Again, this might be a little bit of a jumping thing here, though, but he was the best run defender on that Giants team last year, which is, again, isn't saying too much, but he was good there. Micah Hyde, B tier. Micah Hyde got hurt last year. He's getting older. I don't know if his coverage will be as good. Again, last year, in 2021, he was awesome, but it's just the neck injury last year is really scary. Jordan Poyer, I'll put an A tier, though, because when he stays healthy, he's awesome. He's actually got even better in coverage last year. It's awesome to see for him. He's a true leader on that Bills team. Again, Micah Hyde should be an A tier, but again, just with the scary injury, I got to keep him in B tier. Who is this? Deshaun Elliott, C tier. He just never stays on the field. When he's on the field, he's a little inconsistent, but he can be very good. Javon Holland, B tier. I can't put him in A tier yet. His coverage just hasn't developed yet, and he does need to mature a little bit in terms of run discipline. Marcus May, and man, he's still not good, but he still makes a lot of plays, and he just doesn't miss many tackles. Jordan Whitehead, also B tier. I'll keep him in C tier, because I really do think it's a product of the corners he has, because they did run a lot of deep quarter zone where he only had to do really make it with a couple open field tackles. Don't make me wrong, he can make his plays, but I don't know how good he is actually playing one-on-one. Ashton Davis, D tier. He's on this list because he does get a lot of playing time. I mean, I like what I see from him. He just isn't that talented. That's all I gotta say. Kyle Duggar, B tier. I'll put him in A tier. He makes too many plays. He's A tier. Jabril Peppers. I think that is actually aging close. Jabril Peppers goes in C tier. He's okay. Nick Scott, C tier. Probably could argue he's in D tier, but he just doesn't really show a lot yet, so I'll keep him there. Dax Hill, I think, is still ungradable because, yeah, he wasn't really, that big of an impact last year. He did get some snaps towards the end of the season, but I really don't think he's, I can't really give him a fair grade just yet. Grant Delpit, B tier, he's a good safety. Again, the coverage maturity just isn't truly there yet. Juan Thornhill's probably, he was again, he looked good in preseason, but he just didn't really do much to really warrant, being a good safety. Again, he missed some tackles. He was decent over the top, but with Tyrann Mathieu there, he did get a lot of help. So, last year, again, he's okay, I guess. Kyle Hamilton, B tier. The only reason he's not A tier is because I need to see him play at least a little better in coverage to give him that. But he was really good last year. Marcus Williams, though, he's A-tier. Again, there's a lot of A-tier safeties, but it is true. There's a lot of really good guys. You know what separates these guys are consistency and, like, their, like, versatility and stuff, because that's really what the guys have. Minka, he's S-tier. Honestly, he's the most, he's the most, like, intimidating, or the guy you want to watch out for most at that safety position, because, again, not as consistent as Kevin Byard in coverage, but he's very close. Again, he's better tackler, but he's very close in terms of, like, the impact he does have. Devontae Casey, C-tier, he's okay, like, whatever, my bad. Who is this? Keanu Neal, probably D-tier. He's just so bad in coverage. Okay. Julian Blackmon I'll put in C-tier. He had a down year last year after, again, really good rookie season in 2020. 2021 he was a little better, like, even improved on it, so I think he was probably B-tier last year. But last season he took a step back in coverage, so I gotta keep him there. Rodney Thomas is F-tier. He's just not very good. I'm sorry. Like, just didn't do enough in coverage to really convince me to anyone. Like, I don't know how he's starting. Again, he's not a terrible player, but, like, just not good. Rashawn Jenkins, C-tier. Yeah, he made that one play against the Cowboys, but that's literally it. Who is this? Why can't I get his name? Not Ronnie Harrison. What the heck? This is, not Grant Delpit. Oh, it's Rodney McLeod. Rodney McLeod will go in D-tier. He's old, and he just doesn't play that well. I don't know, it's like, I don't know, he's just really sluggish on the field. Like, just seems to play a little slower than you, like, want from a safety. But either way, that's my 2020 safety rankings. If you didn't know, I do think Kevin Byard is the best safety in the NFL. Yes, was he not as good as, again, 2021 was he better? Yeah, but he's also one of the most underrated players in the league. He's the best guy in coverage, in my opinion, and I do think cover safeties are more valuable than all the versatile. So, yeah, you could say Derwin James number one. I really don't care, but I do think this is probably the order. I think Kevin Byard is my number one safety, again, right now, because he's just how good he is in coverage. Derwin James is the most versatile. That gives him that number 2 spot. Budda Baker is the most dynamic, so he'll go at number 3. Justin Simmons is probably the most, he makes the most plays out of all these guys in coverage, but he just isn't as good. With the injuries last year, I do think he could probably be better than, more talented in coverage than Kevin Byard. But Kevin Byard just doesn't give anything up, so I just got to keep that in mind too. Minka and Jesse Bates are both back there because just, again, they don't make as many, like, big plays or his tackles, but they're both very, very good. Like, Minka, again, you could say I'm stopping him. I just don't like him as much because he does get burned once in a while, which these other guys just simply don't. So I got to keep that in mind. Again, Jesse Bates probably the best leader of all these guys, and he just, again, more consistent than Tulane Funga, just maybe not as talented. So I got to keep that in mind too. So, again, those are really my top 6 safeties. The other guys down here, again, like Ronnie Thomas, he's here basically because he shouldn't be starting, but the rest of these dudes, I don't know, maybe they can do well. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. That's all I got for the safety rankings. Yeah, see him for the next one. I think it's, oh, yeah, it's the edge rushers. That one will be fun to make.
7. And he is ball is out, and Clowney's got it, and Seattle's on the board. Just like that, things can change so quickly. Sharon Reed forced it out. Clowney scoop and score.
It's the twist action inside. Those two, they're gonna twist, come across, and Sharon Reed splits the double team and knocks the ball out.